that you are hearing are live rounds. You will get the fear out of you. Keep moving.
Do you think you can survive military training?
Come on, ladies, pick it up. Move it. I want to see some fire here.
Before you say yes, maybe you should take a look at this. These military trainees are being tased on purpose as part of their military training. If you think that is insane, well, just watch how elite soldiers around the world are trained.
Hustle, move. Let's go.
Any kind of training should be conducted in a controlled environment. After all, it is training and trainees that shouldn't be in immediate peril, right? Well, not quite if you ask the US military. Surf torture. The Navy SEALs are notorious for doing some of the most covert and risky missions in the world, but many people are unaware how these courageous men are made. Navy SEAL trainees go through many intense training programs, one of which is surf torture, also called cold water conditioning. After being covered in mud from head to toe, the men have their arms and legs tied as part of a drown-proofing. The trainees have to bob up and down water 20 times, float for 5 minutes, swim to the shallow end of the pool, and turn around without touching the bottom. They then have to get a face mask from the bottom of the pool. If that sounds crazy to you, it's about to go totally bonkers. To mimic a water combat situation, instructors will launch a full-scale physical assault on trainees while in the water. But of course, the most feared part of Navy SEAL training is the appropriately named Hell Week. It takes place early on, in the 3rd week of first phase, before the Navy invests a lot of money in SEAL operational training. Hell Week involves 5.5 days of cold, wet, extremely hard operational training on less than 4 hours of sleep. Hell Week evaluates physical stamina, mental strength, pain, and cold resistance, teamwork, attitude, and your capacity to do work under high physical and mental pressure, and sleep deprivation. Most of all, it assesses determination and desire. Trainees are always moving, running, swimming, paddling, carrying boats on their heads, doing long PT, sit-ups, push-ups, rolling in the sand, dragging through mud, paddling boats, and doing surf passage. Being still can be equally difficult when you're standing endlessly in formation, soaking wet on the beach, or up to your waist in the water, with the cold ocean wind slicing you. Mud covers uniforms, hands, faces, everything but the eyes. The sand rubs raw skin, and the salt water makes cuts sting. While trainees get enough to eat, some are so exhausted that they fall asleep in their food. Others fall asleep while paddling boats and have to be rescued by teammates. Teamwork and camaraderie are vital as trainees alternatively support and motivate each other to stay in there and not give up. On average, only 25% of SEAL candidates survive Hell Week, the hardest training in the US military. It is often the greatest accomplishment of their lives, and with it comes the awareness that they can do 20 times more than they ever imagined possible. It is a defining moment that they refer to when in combat. They know they will never, ever give up or let a teammate down. Now, that's how soldiers are made, and while the hardship these soldiers went through is unbelievable, there are still some military exercises out there that are completely insane, such as hot potato grenade. I'm pretty sure what you've seen so far have made you realize that military training is not a joke. It requires discipline, accuracy, and courage that can be used in times of war. In short, it's no game of hot potato. You might be wondering why I'm talking about a game for children in this video. Well, it turns out that if you swap the potato with a live grenade, you get one of the most insane training exercises in the world. What you are about to see is simply unbelievable. According to the uploader, this footage shows Chinese soldiers in Hong Kong passing the live bomb from one person to another until the last one throws it in the hole. The soldiers then jump away before it blows up, covering their heads for safety. This dangerous exercise obviously needs impeccable timing. If one person hesitates too long with the bomb, well, let's just say that the YouTube higher-ups wouldn't be very happy with me. This training is allegedly done by China's People Liberation Army, a military group notorious for giving their soldiers special skills and advanced training. I personally don't understand how this would help in a real battle, but hey, I'm not a military expert, so what do I know? Maybe this is supposed to simulate the stress of a real battle zone? I really have no idea. But that seems to be the reason why PLA soldiers also train to jump through flaming hoops. During training, soldiers also have to smash bricks with their heads and break wooden blocks with their bare hands. All these military exercises seem like they're from a crazy kung fu movie. But here's another crazy fact. They actually have a long history. Shaolin monks have been breaking bricks and boards with different parts of their bodies for centuries. And those masters have been feared fighters. If those training methods have worked for them before, there is no reason to think they won't work now. Now that's a wee too excessive, don't you think so? Well, if you do, check out what those crazy guys in Russia are doing. Bullets and entrails. One of the challenges of being an elite soldier is to overcome the natural fear that humans have. And to overcome this, Russian soldiers undergo rigorous training, a training regimen that is both gruesome and terrifying. And first on the list of those fears are bullets. All soldiers face the risk of being shot at in their line of duty, and sometimes they do get shot. Modern body armor may protect them from the fatal wounds, but they don't totally remove the fear. And what is Mother Russia's solution for that? Why, shoot each other in the chest, of course. It may seem savage, not to mention totally insane, but there is a reason for their madness. They do this to boost the soldiers' confidence and remove the fear of being shot. This also improves the soldiers' reaction time, enabling them to shoot back even if injured. This ensures that the men must be able to return fire swiftly and precisely. Another fear that an elite soldier cannot have is the fear of blood. In one exercise, soldiers must overcome their fear of blood by walking at night in a dark building where the floors are drenched in blood and littered with various organs. It is unclear if the blood and guts are from humans or animals, but they surely would not use the remains of corpses here, right? In any event, it is not only this disgusting slide that the soldiers have to endure. Soldiers will also have a rabid dog pursuing them throughout the exercise. Soldiers must evade the dog in a maze of corridors without slipping and falling into the blood. And with that mental image, I am now vegan, believe it or not. There are even more insane military training exercises out there. Case in point, the road to heaven. The road to heaven military exercise is anything but heavenly. In fact, it is more like a taste of hell on Earth. This is the challenge of a 9-week aquatic training program that aspirants for Taiwan's elite military forces have to go through. And finishing this tough exercise will earn them a place in one of the most skilled military groups in the world. The exercise prepares trainees to land on rocky shores, but as the test progresses, you will soon see that it is more about discovering which of the trainees can endure pain. And trust me, the pain begins right away. The road to heaven begins with a trainee dropping from a standing to a planking position, with their arms tucked close to his body, leaving him no option but to take the full force of the drop on his arms and elbows. And they are not dropping on a cushion of soft grass here, oh no. They drop elbows and arms first onto rough, rocky sand. This alone would make weaker men give up, but this is just the start. Next, trainees have to drag themselves across a 50-meter path covered with sharp rocks and pointed coral. They don't have to do it in one go, though they are allowed to stop at 10 different marked points along the rocky path. Keyword here is stop, not rest, and it will become clear in a bit. At each stopping point, instructors will make each trainee do a specific military exercise, ranging from pull-ups and sit-ups, all meant to sap as much strength and energy from a trainee as possible, not to mention crush their spirits. And here's the crazy part. If an instructor is not happy with how well the trainee does an exercise, He will then make them start over from the beginning of the path, and this could happen several times. And as you've seen, this is one test that you don't want to redo. Physical stress is one thing, but what about mental stress? Instructors will yell and insult the trainees every step of the way, and to add insult to injury, which in this case is quite real, instructors will frequently pour salt water onto the trainee's body, which would be full of wounds by now, thus making an already terrible experience even more painful. But I think whatever tortures these trainees feel, it doesn't even come close to what their friends and family feel. Why? Well, because their families have to watch them go through the hellish ordeal from the sidelines. It is common in these exercises to hear the anguished cries of moms trying to motivate their sons to keep going and not give up. In the end, squads of trainees show strong friendship and a sense of brotherhood. After getting first aid, those who have finished the test first immediately go to the sidelines and sing army songs to cheer their fellow soldiers in the hard process. Now, I didn't expect that such a brutal training course would end in something so touching, but in what is considered the hardest military training in the world, there is no such thing. The SAS Walk of Death. The Special Air Service is the oldest active special missions unit in existence and has stayed one of the best, if not the best. It is filled with the strongest and most adaptable enlisted and commissioned soldiers the United Kingdom has to offer, and they only take the best of the best. To weed out the weak, the SAS conducts one of the most difficult and demanding selection and training programs in the modern special operations community. This training regimen is so tough, some people have started to call it the Walk of Death. Timed cross-country marches, journeys through jungles, and a mountain climb are just some obstacles that make joining the SAS a hard task. It all starts with physical testing designed to ensure that each candidate meets the minimum requirements to join the SAS. Selection then continues with a series of forced marches in the Brecon Beacons, a mountain range in South Wales. Candidates are given rifles, weighted rucks, and rations, and are then sent off. Their final test, the first phase, is finding their way across Pen y Fan, the highest peak of the Brecon Beacons. Candidates must survive this trek alone and must complete it in under 20 hours. This segment is officially called endurance and is such a painful and risky trek that some have even died over the years in attempts. After finishing endurance, all remaining candidates are given weeks of instruction on weapons, tactics, and procedures. This is their first real exposure to the dark world in which the SAS usually operates. Lessons on tradecraft, medical care, and hand-to-hand combat are also provided. This segment is run in the hot, thick jungles of Brunei, Belize, or Malaysia. After passing the jungle phase, candidates return to the United Kingdom in Hereford, home of the 22nd Special Air Service Regiment, where they receive more specialized instruction and undergo testing on their trade. Their marksmanship abilities are sharpened and improved, their combat driving abilities are polished, and their skill with foreign weapons and vehicles is increased. Candidates are also put through airborne school, learning how to conduct static line and free-fall jumps, and are subjected to a harsh combat survival and resistance program. After a 1-week test during which candidates are chased down and cruelly interrogated, they are finally ready to join the active SAS. By the end of SAS selection, an initial batch of around 200 candidates will have shrunk down to roughly 25. That's an amazingly low 10% passing rate. These candidates are sent to operational squadrons for more training and eventual deployment. They represent the best the British Armed Forces have to offer, and are thus awarded their badge berets and the SAS badge, the Winged Dagger, which also gives them the right to call themselves Blades. Want to watch more videos like this? Make sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. That way, you'll get notified every time we upload one of these amazing videos, like the one you're seeing on your screen right now. Again, thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.